Namaste, Jai Hind, and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. I'm Anand Nasuman coming to you live from the Federal Bank and CNN News 18 Prime Time Studios, ladies and gentlemen. And even as we speak, it's the Prime Minister's interview to Pallavi Ghosh here at the News 18 network, here at CNN News 18, that will dominate the discourse even as the spotlight is thrown on Bengal. PM's first roadshow this election season in Kolkata, mired in a lot of controversy and Mamata Banerjee trying to put a lot of resistance. But the Prime Minister, just before he spoke with us here at CNN News 18, took to X and said, Kolkata, I will never forget the reception that you have accorded to me. I will never forget this roadshow. But while speaking with Pallavi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi underlining some of the important aspects with respect to Vikas and Vishwas, ladies and gentlemen. On the OBC quota and this entire game of Muslim appeasement using the OBC card and the OBC quota, the Prime Minister welcoming the Kolkata High Court's judgment. But more importantly, he's turned around and said, we are the ones who have assured women's safety, respect, reservation for women, and also to a certain level trying to bring up the standards with which women are treated in society, and especially in Bengal. The other thing is, if you drive out investors, no investor will come despite an investor summit. If you're at the bedrock of your politics is to try and block investors, block growth, then how is the story of Kolkata, how is the story of Bengal going to move forward? Give us 5 years or let this government understand and mend its ways. In 5 years, Kolkata, Bengal can be turned around. That's the big message coming in. If we can do it in Uttar Pradesh, why not in Bengal? These are the message that the Prime Minister has sent across while speaking with us here at CNN News 18. Pallavi Ghosh with that interview. We'll try and get her live if we can. But it's the grand finale, ladies and gentlemen, of this entire 2024 clash. Prime Minister Modi taking center stage even as we're getting into the final 10 seats in Bengal that will go up in phase 7. In an interview to ANI, the Prime Minister had said that the Trinamool Congress is fighting an existential battle in Bengal and predicted that the BJP will do its best ever. One of the biggest performances or the best performances of the BJP in these elections will be in Bengal is what he had said. Further escalating the attack on the Mamata government, Prime Minister, while addressing rallies in Barasat and Jadavpur, vowed to combat corruption in Bengal and propel the culture and economy to new heights, exactly what he echoed when he spoke with Pallavi Ghosh just a short while ago. The Prime Minister said that by rejecting the High Court order, the Trinamool Congress is actually openly playing a vote bank game of appeasing the Muslim vote bank, and that's not going to work. Prime Minister, while speaking with Pallavi, very clearly saying that our country was divided on the grounds of religion, and that's why our founding fathers said there will be no more religious accommodation of any kind of dole. It will be done based on socio-economic and educational classification, and that's what we should focus on. But the Prime Minister said that this was endeavored or attempted directly in Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka, which the courts have stopped, and here they used the backdoor route, the indirect route, and that has now also been called out by the Kolkata High Court. It was never a point of political discourse, but it's now come into the limelight and people are realizing the game that was being played, the dangerous game that was being played. So this is what the Prime Minister has said, and he's also said that if the left then dissuaded investment in Bengal, then the Trinamool took it a notch further. We will change all of that. Let's also take a look at the BJP's performance in Bengal, and especially in the Lok Sabha elections. In 2009, the BJP won one seat with a vote share of just 6.29%. In 2014, it won 2 seats with a vote share of 16.55%. In 2019, look at the escalation, 18 seats with a vote share of 40.25%. The entire left vote transferred quite literally, and especially the Hindu left vote transferred quite literally to the BJP, and the BJP became the alternative to the Trinamool Congress in Bengal. Although all of it changed, and quite a lot of it changed with the assembly elections, where the BJP rose from 7 to 77 or 3 to 77, ladies and gentlemen, but the Trinamool also returned 211. It was straight, it was a two-way fight. The BJP this time around is gunning for nearly 30 seats in the Lok Sabha elections out of 42. How can they gain and where all? Arambagh, Trinamool Congress's Aparupa Poddar narrowly defeated BJP's Tapan Kumar Ray by just 1142 votes. victory margin of less than 0.1, just about 0.1%. In Maldaha Dakshin, BJP Srirupa Mitra Chaudhary secured 34.7% votes, lost to Congress's Abu Hasim Khan Chaudhary, who got 34.7% votes, victory margin of 0.6%. Damdam Trinamool Congress's Saugata Roy defeated BJP's Samik Bhattacharya by 53,000 votes, victory margin 4.4%. Krishnanagar, again, Trinamool Congress's Mahua Moitra, 45.4% vote share, defeated BJP's Kalyan Chaube by 63,000 votes. Victory margin again less than 5%. Birbhum, another important seat, Trinamool Congress's Satabdi Roy defeated BJP's Dut Kumar Mondal by 88,924 votes, margin of 6.1%. Bardhaman Purva, Trinamool Congress's Sunil Kumar Mondal defeated BJP's Paresh Chandra Das by 89,000 votes. And again, victory margin about 6.2%. Srirampur, 10, Trinamool Congress's Kalyan Banerjee got 45.5% votes. BJP's Debjit Sarkar, 38.5% votes. Again, margin about 7%. So, this is where the victory margin less than 10% and about 5 seats where the victory margin is less than 5%. Pallavi Ghosh now joins us live. Pallavi, congratulations on that interview on the road show, right on the bus. The Prime Minister very candid with you, where he turned around and said 3 aspects. He said, we have ensured women's safety, respect for women, more representation for women. Turned around and said law and order is a huge issue in Bengal. But more importantly, he said, give us 5 years, let this government change and mend its ways. We will turn around Bengal. Big words there.
Yes, that's a huge concern actually over here. That's a huge concern really, Anand, because I of course belong to this state, but when I met a lot of first-time voters, all of them are very worried and express their concern about the fact that why they love Bengal and this is their home. Unlike other states where there are opportunities like an Amazon or a Google opening big shops, and I did ask the Prime Minister this, why is it that Bengal loses out in terms of investment? So this would be good news for them certainly when the Prime Minister promises them that give me 5 years and it's going to be a turnaround moment for Bengal. And as he very correctly said, and this is always something which Bengalis at one point of time were proud about, what India thinks tomorrow, Bengal thinks today. Today that story doesn't seem to be holding true because the investments have dried up. He made that comparison to Uttar Pradesh also, which everyone thought would be a dry state in terms of investments, but look how UP has turned around. यहाँ पर investment summit बुलाने का क्या फायदा when people don't even want to invest? That's what the Prime Minister told me. He also made a very larger point that till you, and I did ask him about the poll violence, he said that if there's no safety, why is it that anyone would want to invest? Why would there be an economic progress? That's going to be a huge agenda, and frankly speaking, that's also a huge concern which Mamata Banerjee also faces in terms of getting more and more private investments, big companies, multinational opening their shops over here. They are there in Mumbai, Chennai, Mangaluru. Why not? Why should Bengal or Kolkata miss out on it?
True. The big question was Bengal and Kolkata was always considered the intellectual capital, the think tank, the thinking capital. And this was a conversation which many Bengalis today believe that that's not being encouraged. Thinking is not being encouraged. Investment is not being encouraged. But the Prime Minister also very candid on the OBC quota. And what is the sense that you get in Bengal? Is the Trinamool under pressure here? Is the BJP on the up? The Prime Minister's roadshow in Kolkata itself had a lot of ifs and buts and also hurdles put on. But how was the response? What did you feel?
Well, you know, there was a huge organic crowd. I mean, the area where he's doing his road show, which is just about to end, and it's just right behind me, Sham Bazar. This entire belt has a large number of businessmen, small traders, big traders, Marwadis. But this is also a very interesting constituency. This has been the turf for Shudip Bandyopadhyay of the Trinamool Congress. And pitted opposite him is Taposh Roy, who was at one point of time the same person who was a part of the Mamata Banerjee government and cabinet. He left the TMC to join the BJP, and he's considered to be the political advisor, the man who actually knows the ropes on the ground. It's interesting that when I was speaking to the Prime Minister, sharing stage with him on the truck was of course Shubhendu Adhikari, another person who's believed to have made Mamata Banerjee in Nandigram, and of course Taposh Roy was also very much on the stage with the Prime Minister. So this is a seat which the BJP is extremely hopeful about, and I think that also explains why the PM conducted that lonely load show in Kolkata. It's around 2 kilometers, but it's going to touch a chord possibly. I did see a large number of young people, a large number of first-time voters also very much here, and of course people who wanted to come here and have a look at the Prime Minister.
Congratulations on that interview again, Pallavi. Great work done on ground. Let's take this to our guests. Does this set the tone for Bengal, and will the Modi factor make a difference? Will the Mahila factor make a difference? Syed Zafar Islam, national spokesperson of the BJP with us, Swapan Das Gupta, former Rajya Sabha MP and senior journalist with us, and Tausif Khan, advocate and political analyst also with us. Namaste and Jai Hind. Swapanji, your thoughts on the Prime Minister's interview, the roadshow, and how Bengal is shaping up? You've spent some time there, so let's get a sense from you.
Well, I didn't hear the interview, unfortunately, and I didn't. But I can sort of deduce what he said. But I think what's very important, and I thought it was very significant, is that there were two rallies. Firstly, the rally in Ashoknagar, where he touched upon this thing about women and the insecurity which is faced by women, and gave a lot of importance to Rekha Patra, the candidate for Sandesh Kali. Now, that was one aspect of it. But I think the road show in North Calcutta, it was held, I think Pallavi got it a little wrong. It was held in places like Bagh Bazaar, Sham Bazaar, etc., which is really the heartland of old Bengali Calcutta. You know, that was the traditional ancestral house of Swami Vivekanand. That was where Sharoda Ma, you used to see, was there. So there, it's a lot of associations, Bengali associations which are linked with that area. And for the first time, we saw that the response of the people, and Pallavi was absolutely right in saying that was an organic crowd. And it was a crowd of people who basically are yearning for some difference. And there was a certain cultural barrier which was there, which greeted the BJP in the past. And that cultural barrier, which was exploited by Mamata Banerjee into suggesting that these people are Bohiragato, they are outside. And I think one of the major achievements to today of Narendra Modi's roadshow was that he very, very successfully broke that. It was he alone who could have broken it. Earlier, Amit Shah had tried, but he didn't succeed. Modi ji, with his deep associations with the Ramakrishna Mission, etc., and Mamata Banerjee's own verbal assault on the entire saffron fraternity, whether it's Ramakrishna Mission, the Bharat Seva, the ISKCON, etc. You know, these are people who things has created a deep unease. And that unease was sought to be exploited by the Prime Minister. Now, this is a very difficult seat in Kolkata North. I think everybody's keeping their fingers crossed in the BJP. But
right.
All that can be said at this particular point is that today the BJP has given a fight, has thrown up a challenge to the Trinamool, a challenge which the Trinamool has never experienced before this.
Tausif Khan, before we bring in Zafar Islam. If the BJP makes inroads in these 10 seats, that will be a huge headache for the Trinamool going forward.
No, there is no question of BJP making any inroad. As at least admitted by Mr. Das Gupta, that Amit Shah failed to woo the voters of Bengal, and he is hoping that perhaps Mr. Modi will be able to achieve that. However, whenever we talk about M in Bengal, it is the Mamata Banerjee and it is the Mahila vote. That is what counts in all Bengal. It has in all elections in the past recently, in the recent years, it has always been Mahila vote, which is which is always taken for granted that they are going to vote for Mamata Banerjee. And there are various reasons for that. Not only that, the Mamata Banerjee is the only chief minister in the country who's a woman. Being a woman, that she appeals the women voters in Bengal. But the Bengal government runs various schemes like, Rupashri program, where family is given financial aid at the time of marriage. Then Kanya Shri program, then Lakshmi Bhandar. So it's because of these welfare schemes that Mamata Banerjee has cemented her position in Bengal politics, that at least the women voters are not going anywhere. So whether when Mr. Amit Shah, the supposed number 2, came and failed to woo the women voter, I don't know for which schemes did Mr. Narendra Modi offer to West Bengal to lure the voters of Bengal, the Mahila voters.
What happens is it is good to infer, but it is incorrect and it is unfair to misquote. What Swapan Dasgupta spoke about was that there was a cultural misalignment, and that cultural alignment has been shot over or has been creased out. That little bit of a crease has been done by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and nobody could have done it like the way Prime Minister Narendra Modi does. This entire Boirogoto aspect of it is no longer applicable. Who is Ram? Ram bahar ke hain, Jai Shri Ram. That was what was all witnessed in 2019, but 2024 is a different scenario. Zafar Islam, how would you respond to Tausif saying that nothing, Mahila is not going to vote for PM Modi? The BJP is not going to gain or do better than the last time in 2019.
There is no question of if or but or and. BJP has already made inroads in Bengal, deep inroads. And when people are talking about BJP, they know that BJP is going to win at least 32 seats in West Bengal. And the Honorable Prime Minister has very candidly stated today in one of his speeches that one state which will really outperform the rest is West Bengal. There are many states where we have already reached the saturation point, like 100% seats we are getting. But there are states where we are improving our performance, we are progressing very well. And West Bengal will be the most performing state for Bharatiya Janata Party in 2024. Minimum 32 seats, and if 80 to 90% seats we get, we will not be surprised, because there's a lot of expectations of the youth expecting from the government, and it is only the Honorable Prime Minister can deliver it, and they know that Mamata cannot deliver it. Mamata is not a good chief minister who has never worked for the welfare of the people or for the progress or the development of the state, but she has always prioritized to divide the society just to stay in power and let her nephew do the corruption and all her ministers do the corruption. All this thing has been done in last several years, but today if you ask a man on the street, he will say that we want to vote for Modi because we want development in West Bengal, we want global companies to invest in West Bengal, we want to secure the future of next generation, we want the state of Bengal should progress, and that can happen if it's led by Bharatiya Janata Party and the Honorable Prime Minister in the center and somebody in the state as a chief minister.
Would you agree with this inference?
Will definitely drive
in 2019, 2014, 2019, it was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, it was nationalism. And it was also, of course, the Matua factor when CAA was being spoken about, and there was a promise. In 2024, would you agree if I say that it is more Hindutva, it is more Swami Vivekananda, Ramakrishna Math, Ramakrishna Mission, it is more about delivering on the promise of CAA. So is there a shift there? Because the PM came in 2019 also and addressed a rally in Kolkata. Today he's done a roadshow in Kolkata. What's the difference? What's changed in the last 5 years? After you, then Swapan Dasgupta ji.
Actually, Anand, if you really do a back testing of what we have spoken about West Bengal, we've always spoken about two important things. One, the lack of development in West Bengal, and second, the way the policy of appeasement by Mamata Banerjee, and we really want to put an end to these two flaws, which major flaws. There are many flaws in Mamata governance model, but these very prominent flaws in Mamata government, which is directly impacting the people of West Bengal, and everybody wants a change, and then can be provided only by Bharatiya Janata Party is a natural.
But that change should be at the assembly election. How is the change manifest as far as Lok Sabha is concerned? It didn't manifest when it comes to the assembly elections. Yes, the BJP gained, sir, and to the BJP's credit, it was unprecedented. 3 to 77 or 3 to 80 is phenomenal. But the Trinamool returned 211.
I'm coming to that.
Ji.
But I'm coming to that. But in terms of vote percentage in general election in 2019 is merely 2 or 2.5%, and you have just shown the margin of victory is 0.5 to 4% to 5% to 6%.
Correct.
But we have been able to really make deep inroads in West Bengal. The margin will now it will be positive for us, and we will register more victories in West Bengal. And as a result, I am saying that the people's hope lies in BJP, and in 2025 when the assembly election will take place, you will see people will not only vote for change, but we will vote for development, and Bharatiya Janata Party in particular, that they want Bharatiya Janata Party to come and run the state and demonstrate a better governance model which ensure the safety and security besides safeguarding the interests of the common man on the street. This is something which we have been able to do very.
But here is a charge that comes from
we have
an
been
ex.
able to do.
Yeah,
Quickly,
can I just,
yes, Swapanji.
Yeah, can I just intervene? You know, what's the difference between 2019 and 2020? It's the question which was asked. And I think one of the major differences which is there is that there are certain issues which have been taken up now. The most important which one is corruption. And with corruption comes the lack of development. You know, the second issue, yes, you're absolutely right. There's a subtle shift in there's an undercurrent of Hitler which is there, and I think that's part of it has got to do with. And I would really respectfully submit to Mr. Yusuf Khan that the two M's he was talking about. One is Mamta, but the second is not Mahila. Unfortunately, it has a very communal connotation. It is really a solid block of Muslim votes which has got there, and she takes it for granted. And a lot of her policies, etc., are geared towards consolidating that bloc. I believe that bloc will probably, by and large, stay with her in this election, with the exception of certain parts of North Bengal where it might go to the other places. And I think here is the thing, the extent to which the BJP can appeal to the other women, other youth, etc., to say that whether joining the national mainstream is going to be the focus for development. And that's what the Prime Minister suggested, that give me 5 years. What was he saying? We know very well that this is not a state assembly election. That even if Mamata Banerjee is to be thoroughly defeated in this round of the Lok Sabha election, her government will still be there. Of course, it will be
here is a former BJP person now in Trinamool, Babul Supriyo, former MP from Asansol, Syed Zafar Islam. This is what he's saying. The change I see in our Honorable Prime Minister from 2014 to today shocks me like many others. Doesn't he hear himself when he's speaking? What is he talking about? He has no right to talk about corruption. He and his party have sheltered superstars of corruption in our country, and then there are plenty of pictures that have been put with stamps of corrupt, etc. This is his tweet where he tagged the BJP, tagged AITC official, and also Derek O'Brien. The netas in this video are only 10% of the total number of Bhraštachar wale he has sheltered in his party. So the Trinamool saying quite rich coming from the Prime Minister talking about corruption.
No, the Prime Minister has said that he's going to try and enable some legislation whereby a lot of the money which is recovered is given back to the people. That was what he was reacting.
But the fact is, the allegation is that the BJP today is the hotbed of all the Bhrashtacharis who were Bhrashtacharis in 2014 today are hobnobbing with the Prime Minister and sharing space with the Prime Minister, including on the roadshow today. Yes, Syed Zafar Islam.
I think you have to really understand two things, Anand. One, that when they are in their own party, the party which they were earlier prior to joining BJP, nobody made this kind of a statement. It is when we hear from about somebody as a political party, we have to make noise. But it is the agency which does the work. So they are independent agencies. They pursue based on the evidence and the information they have, and they lead what they get. But if they feel that they were corrupt, then why didn't they thrown out these people from their party? When they are with them, they are not corrupt. When they are with us, they are corrupt. If I can tell Babul Supriyo that any party, no, I'm saying anybody who is in their party and they have been sacked or thrown out from their party because of the corruption charges, BJP will never touch them. But if there is something which has been heard and we have made noise, doesn't mean that they have been proven guilty. So as long as they are not guilty, let the independent agencies pursue their based on their evidence. If they found anybody found guilty, will definitely take appropriate action against them.
Well, this is where the aspect of standards being the same and each one looking at the other and being coloured and mired in corruption stands out. And this is one aspect which the Trinamool has come out and tried to say that they will attack. I've got limited time. Would like to play out a short portion of that conversation the Prime Minister had with Pallavi Ghosh just a short while ago, just as we came on live with the Right Stand. Listen in, please.
प्रधानमंत्री जी, सुबह से तृणमूल का कहना है कि आप आउटसाइडर हो, बीजेपी का कहना है कि बेंगोलियन मोने मोदी हमारे मन में प्रधानमंत्री हैं। आप अपने आप को आउटसाइडर तो नहीं समझते हो, आपका जवाब क्या होगा तृणमूल कांग्रेस को?
ऐसा है कि शायद कुछ लोगों की इतनी बैंक्रप्सी है कि वो पॉलिटिकल नैरेटिव गढ़ नहीं पा रहे हैं। आइडियोलॉजी पर, विजन पर, डेवलपमेंट के प्रोग्राम्स पर, उस पर कोई बात करे तो उसका एक वैल्यू है। जब वो कुछ नहीं होता है तो फिर ऐसी बातें करनी पड़ती है जो किसी भी देशवासी को अपमानित करती है, और उनको अंदाज नहीं है कि इसका नुकसान देश में बंगाली समाज को भी होता है। ये कभी नहीं करना चाहिए। इस देश का किसी भी कोने में रहने वाला व्यक्ति, उसके प्रति हमारा वही भाव होना चाहिए। और वैसे तो हम लोग वसुधैव कुटुंबकम वाले हैं, पूरे विश्व को परिवार मानते हैं, तो हमें ये शोभा नहीं देता है।
प्रधानमंत्री जी, मैं संदेश खाली से हाल ही में होके आई हूँ और वहाँ पे मैंने बहुत सारी महिलाओं से बात करने की कोशिश की, लेकिन वो कुछ सहमे हुए हैं। उनको उम्मीद है कि वोट से शायद उनको वो मौका मिलेगा बोलने का। आप नारी शक्ति पे बहुत जोर डालते हैं, संदेश खाली को लेके आपको क्या कहना है?
मैं बताता हूँ। सबसे पहले तो मैं संदेश खाली के उन सभी बहनों का चरण स्पर्श करता हूँ तो उन्होंने इतनी हिम्मत दिखाई, उन्होंने व्यक्तिगत प्रतिष्ठा की चिंता नहीं की, क्या परिणाम हो गए उसकी चिंता नहीं की, और वो इतने बड़े भयंकर षड्यंत्र को उन्होंने लोगों के सामने उजागर किया। मैंने आज मेरी एक सभा थी, तो बहन रेखा पात्रा जी हमारी उम्मीदवार है, मैंने उसका भाषण सुना, मैं आश्चर्यचकित था जी। क्या एनर्जी थी, क्या आइडियोलॉजी थी, क्या फ्लो था। शायद टीएमसी के पास रेखा पात्रा जैसा भी एक ऑरेटर नहीं होगा। झुग्गी झोपड़ी में पली हुई है, मतलब वो भीतर से उसके दिल की आवाज बोल रही थी। जहां तक बीजेपी का सवाल है, हमने दो दिशाओं में काम किया है। एक, नारी सुरक्षा को ध्यान में रखते हुए कानूनी, जैसे हमने रेप के मामले में फांसी की सजा, उस दिशा में हम लोग गए हैं। उसी प्रकार से हमने आरक्षण की व्यवस्था की महिलाओं के लिए। हम 3 करोड़ लखपति दीदी बनाने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं।